In Islam, creating and possessing images is considered a form of shirk or idolatry because it attempts to replicate Allah's unique act of creation. This is emphasized in multiple narrations by the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, who warned that image makers would face severe punishment. However, this raises the question, are digital images also forms of shirk? A physical photograph and a digital image stored on your phone's camera roll exhibit different characteristics. A physical photo is a tangible, printed representation occupying physical space, necessitating proper storage to preserve its quality. It exists in the physical world and can be touched and held. Due to its tangible nature, it can resemble a statue or idol, especially when prominently and permanently displayed. From an Islamic perspective, such a photo might be seen as an object of undue reverence, which is considered a form of idolatry in contexts where creating or venerating images is deemed blasphemous. Conversely, a digital photo, as found on your phone, exists as data, composed of bits representing pixel colors and brightness. These digital images are electronically stored in your phone's memory, whether internal storage or an external memory card, occupying digital storage space. This is the fundamental distinction between digital images and traditional tangible physical photographs. However, due to their unique nature as data stored on electronic devices such as smartphones, are static or fixed digital images considered haram or forbidden? Let's see what Sheikh Ibn Uthaymeen has to say about it. Sheikh Ibn Uthaymeen offers insight into this distinction, stating, regarding images created in a modern manner, they fall into two categories. The first category includes those with no tangible substance, like images on videotapes. These images are not subject to any prohibition. Hence, the Islamic scholars who forbid making pictures with cameras on paper, photographs, permitted this, video pictures, and said that there is nothing wrong with this. For when we examine digital images closely, we find that they lack a tangible form. Instead, they exist as electronic data composed of binary code, representing various pixel colors and brightness levels. This electronic representation distinguishes them from physical images, which are printed or displayed in a tangible format. While Sheikh Ibn Uthaymeen viewed digital images as not constituting shirk, many contemporary scholars, including Sheikh Al-Fawzan, have taken a stronger stance, deeming all digital images forbidden.
ما حكم التصوير من جوال الكاميرا حيث يقول بعض الأشخاص بأنه مجرد حبس الظل وليس في ذلك أي شيء من التحريم، فما حكم ذلك؟
ليس فيه شيء من التحريم عنده، أما عند السنة والأدلة التصوير بعمومه حرام، وملعون المصور، وهو أشد الناس عذابا يوم القيامة. فما الذي يخرج الجوال من هذا؟ الرسول حرم التصوير مطلقا بأي وسيلة، جوال، كاميرا، باليد، بالرسم، حرمه تحريما مطلقا. فمن يستثني على الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم يستدرك على الرسول؟ إلا أن العلماء المحققين استثنوا حالة الضرورة، إذا احتاج الإنسان للتصوير للضرورة فيباح هذا من أجل الضرورة. قوله تعالى: وقد فصل لكم ما حرم عليكم إلا ما اضطررتم إليه. أما التصوير للهواية والتصوير للفن، تصوير بالكاميرا أو باليد أو بأي شيء، فهو حرام ولا يجوز إلا للضرورة فقط، بقدر الضرورة، رخصة من أجل الضرورة فقط. نعم.
To reconcile these diverging views, the general guideline in Islam suggests that two conditions must be met for static digital images to be acceptable and not constitute shirk. First, static images bearing a face and mimicking sentient beings, or Allah's creation, must serve a clear purpose, such as for videos, movies, educational content, or work-related use. If these images serve a purpose, such as thumbnails for dawah or work, they are acceptable, as evidenced by the Quranic verse. He has explained to you in detail what is forbidden to you, except under compulsion of necessity. However, if static images, which are fixed and unchanging, bearing a face and mimicking sentient beings or Allah's creation, do not serve a clear purpose and are unnecessary, such as an image of a cartoon character or emojis, they must be avoided. These images challenge Allah's divine attributes as the fashioner and the creator. This is starkly warned against through an authentic narration. Who is more unjust than those who try to create something like my creation? I challenge them to create even the smallest ant, a wheat grain or a barley grain. Second, it is imperative to handle digital images appropriately. In Islam, images should be hidden from public view and kept private, such as on a camera roll, to minimize misuse or the risk of idolatry. Digital images or pictures of loved ones are acceptable if hidden on a camera roll, as they are reflections of reality and not attempts to create or mimic life, unlike cartoons which are generally meant for public display. However, this raises the question, why are certain digital static images allowed to be stored electronically, such as digital pictures of families and friends, if kept on a camera roll? The answer lies in the nature of digital images. Digital images exist as data that can be easily deleted or hidden when stored electronically. Unlike printed photographs, which have a lasting physical presence, digital images are destroyed when the device is turned off, as they are no longer visible to the viewer. They have temporary visibility. They are displayed on a screen only while the device is on and the specific file is accessed. When the device is turned off, the image data is not processed or displayed, making it visually non-existent and no longer visible or accessible. Allah's sovereignty and lordship extend even into the digital realm. He is the Lord of all worlds, encompassing everything in our reality and beyond, including all dimensions. Even the worlds we try to imagine and illustrate, Allah is the Lord of all these worlds. It is imperative as believers, we must uphold Tawheed by affirming Allah's oneness in worship, lordship, names, and attributes, while simultaneously rejecting any form of association, partnership, or similarity with Allah in these aspects. This dual approach ensures the purity and exclusivity of faith in Allah, maintaining the core principle of Islamic monotheism. Videos and movies are generally acceptable in Islam as long as they do not honor any false deities. However, this raises the question, why are non-static images acceptable and do not constitute forms of shirk, whereas static images do? This distinction becomes clearer in the context of movies. Even though movies consist of images, they are generally acceptable in contexts where static images might be considered haram. This is because videos and movies are stored and processed as data. In digital filmmaking, each frame is comprised of digital data that represents pixel colors and intensity stored electronically without physical form. In both digital and traditional film formats, each image is quickly replaced by the next, effectively destroying the previous frame. Unlike static images, which may be tangible and considered haram in certain contexts, the digital nature of videos and movies represent images as data. This data, when played in rapid sequence, creates the illusion of motion rather than presenting static digital images. This fundamental difference allows videos and movies to be perceived differently under Islamic teachings, making them acceptable. The Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings be upon him, warns us of the spiritual danger of prioritizing one's image or ego over spiritual commitments. While digital images stored on one's camera roll are not typically considered forms of shirk, concerns arise when we examine the intentions and purposes behind using these images as profile pictures on platforms like Instagram or Facebook. If individuals post these images solely to attract likes, followers, and approval from their online audience, it can lead to self-idolatry or vainglory, behaviors marked by excessive admiration for oneself and a devotion to one's own image. Essentially, this can become a form of self-worship, where the pursuit for personal validation and honor shifts focus from a life centered on the divine to one centered on oneself. This shift towards self-centeredness does not align with Islamic values, which emphasize humility and the importance of seeking validation from Allah alone, not from the fleeting approval of the public.
أيبتغون عندهم العزة فإن العزة لله جميعا.
While emojis can be considered a major form of shirk due to their depiction of faces, there is another reason why they also fall under the category of shirk in the 21st century. Emojis are the digital representation of sigils from the ancient grimoire, the Lesser Key of Solomon. Sigils are central to the Lesser Key of Solomon, an influential 17th century grimoire steeped in the traditions of ceremonial magic. These sigils are meticulously designed symbols, each crafted to invoke and command specific demons as part of elaborate magical rituals. The practitioners of these rituals believe that the sigils hold significant magical power, capable of influencing spiritual realms and enacting change in the physical world. Each sigil's creation involves intricate designs that integrate various magical alphabets and are activated through specific ceremonial practices, underscoring their profound esoteric significance.